Hey guys, welcome to a new lesson on how to make your chord progressions a little more interesting. Today we're going to be looking at what I call the major 1 to major 3. It sounds a little confusing, but it's not too bad, and it's used in music all over. I hear it all the time. So let's jump right into it. Let's say we're in the key of G, G major. Now if you ever get confused, I usually write out the scale that G goes with, which would be G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. That's what I usually start with, and then I number it. So G would be 1, A would be 2, B would be 3, C would be 4, D would be 5, E would be 6, F sharp would be 7, and then G would be just 8 or back to 1. Doesn't really matter. G is the 1 chord, and the 1 chord for major is major. The 2 chord for a major scale is minor. The 3 chord is also minor. So if we go right up the scale, it'd be G major, A minor, B minor. But instead of playing B minor, a lot of people play B major instead. And they usually do this right after they play like the root. So for instance, it'd be G and then to B major. And I'm sure you've heard that kind of sound before. It has like a kind of different, interesting sound. Here's a progression that you could use that would be 1, major 3, 4, 5. And then back to 1. So the major 3 is a really cool way to make it a little more interesting than usual. Some songs that use the major 3, let's shift gears to, let's say we're in the key of E major. So here's E, we're now in E major. So we're going to count to ourselves. E is 1, F sharp is 2, G sharp would be 3. So now that we know that G sharp is the 3rd of E, we're going to play E major and then G sharp major. So it'd sound like this. So let's listen to that again. So one example of that being used would be in a song that sounds like this. There's the G major, and then we're in E major, so they end on an E. Another example of this would be Bright Eyes. They use this in one of their songs. So in this song, they are using a capo, and their first chord is C major. So we're in C major this time. If you count C, D, E, E is the 3rd of C. So we're going to be going from C major to E major, which sounds like this. So that's the first 2 chords. I'll do it again. You can hear how it kind of sounds different. C to E major. And when you use that major 3, you're actually using a note that's outside of the C major scale. So that's why it kind of has that cool sound. If you're wondering where you can use this major 3, it works best if you use it right after the tonic, which would be like the starting point. So if you're writing a song and you say, okay, I want this song to be in C, C major. So if you want to use the major 3, you'd probably want to use it right after you use C major. You don't have to, but it usually lends itself pretty well. So it'd be C, and then you're going to count D would be 2, E would be 3. So E major is 3. So instead of C major to E minor, you can do C major to E major, and it would sound cool. It would sound pretty cool. So it'd be like this. And then usually after you do the major 3, it usually goes to the 6, which is minor. So if we're in C, the 6 would be A, so A minor. So usually it goes 1, major 3, minor 6. But you don't have to. Again, you can use it kind of however you want. If you wanted to do it that way, it'd sound something like this. Another song example that uses the major 3 is by Radiohead, and the chord progressions sounds like this. They're starting on 1, which would be G major. And if we count up, A is 2, so B is 3, so we're going to make B major. And it has that really cool sound to it, which I really like. And then they just go to 4, and they go to minor 4, which I talked about in my last lesson. So you could put both of those together if you wanted to. To reiterate, whenever you're in a major key, all you do is take the note that you're starting with. So if we're in G major, G is 1, A would be 2, and then B would be 3. So you're just going to count up 3 and make the chord major on that one. So yeah, there's the major 3 chord. You can use that in your progressions from here on out, and it makes it sound a little more interesting. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.